My honest thought after riding the WR125R. First of all, it's been a while since I rode a 125cc off-road bike. This is my first time on a Yamaha off-road model since the KLX 125cc. So I'll skip comparing it with Yamaha's off-road lineup this time. But my butt was on fire. It hurts like hell. That said, I felt its three major strengths were class-leading suspension, stability, and rev-happy engine. I was particularly impressed with the suspension, but the C completely negated that. Let's dive into the detail. That is the engine performance. Engine type water-cooled 4-stroke SOHC 4-valve. Cylinder configuration single cylinder. Total displacement 124. Bore stroke 52 and 58.7. Compression ratio is 11.2. Max power is 15 horsepower. 10,000 and max torque is 11 Newton meters, 6,500 RPM. And then I wondered what kind of bike it would be with 15 horsepower YZF series engine, but it was finely tuned given its off-road oriented setup. The VVA activation timing is around 7 to 8,000 RPM compared to other bikes where VVA typically activates around 6,000 RPM. This timing is deliberately delayed. Since it's marketed as beginner friendly, I tried to stall it. Well, it doesn't stall. It finally stalled at 1,000 RPM. From a stall resistance perspective, is this typical for off-road bikes or is WR125R special? And city riding, if you keep revving from first gear like this, you only reach to 20 km per hour by the time you hit 7,000 RPM. Measuring GPS error showed 5 km per hour discrepancy. Essentially, spinning 7,000 RPM in first gear only get you 15 km per hour. This is surprising, but looking at the gear ratio, explain it from first to 6 gears ratio. So it's quite a low gear actually when shifting through all gears from first to 6 during city riding. It didn't feel like the low to mid-range torque was exceptionally strong. Instead, the commonly used expression sticky engine felt spot on. The gap between peak power and peak torque RPM is quite wide, contributing to a smooth acceleration feel. Even when VVA engages, there is no distinct switching sensation like Honda's VTEC system. In other models where I felt torque, I think it was less about the VVA switching and more about the power band being narrowed, giving that sudden acceleration. Adding to that, Yamaha's VVA really makes you appreciate how smooth it is at higher level. Even spinning it up to 10,000 RPM, it keeps going smoothly. That was amazing. Yeah. The realization of its greatness. I think you only truly grasp this greatness when you ride a low revving, air-cooled, single-cylinder, 2-valve bike. While it's true that this water-cooled cylinder, single cylinder with VVA is beginner friendly and easy to handle. If this is your bike, it becomes your baseline. You might not fully grasp how incredible it is to rev it up and have it run this smoothly. Well, I admit I didn't grasp its awesomeness before riding it either. The top speed of WR125R, it was around 100 km per hour. For a 15 horsepower bike, it doesn't reach high top speed, but its true strength is smooth acceleration, maintaining high RPMs and low end torque, so there is no need to be too disappointed. Now, especially in Japan, we can't go highway with 125cc, so we don't need to take care about it. And on tall roads, especially on tall roads, hitting fourth or fifth gear with the VVA kicking in at high level was incredibly sensual. It felt absolutely amazing. However, breaking it down into weakness and strengths, the weakness struggle with merging and lacks that sudden surge of torque, and also strengths is stability, unbelievable stability for 125cc class bike, and an engine you can rev out. Naturally, 6th gear is mainly for cruising, so it takes time to rev from 6,000 RPM to 10,000 RPM, but since I'm not hitting the highway anyway, it's perfectly practical. And then I checked the fuel efficiency. Fuel tank capacity at 8.1 liter and cover 93 km using 2.3 liter. That works out to about 40 km per liter. This freezing cold, the day is like 2 degrees, makes that fuel efficiency understandable. So range is about 320 km. And in the last section, I want to talk about this section carefully, what it is: riding position and comfort. So far, I've highlighted quite a few positive about WR125R, but ultimately, that cutting board like seat made my butt hurt like crazy. Even sitting at McDonald's for an hour and a half didn't help anything at all. It achieved this ideal road following ability, stability, and suspension, but ground clearance is pretty bad. That's so bad. Well, you can tell it's big before you even ride it, and even when you do, it doesn't sink down much. So even my height is 182 centimeters tall, I had to stand on tiptoes at traffic lights. Only my fingerprints touch the ground. The seat height of 875mm is quite high, but the seat width is very slim. I didn't experience pants rubbing in winter gear, but it's important enough to mention again. My butt hurt. But actually, well, I just happened to have the torque delivery of Yamaha's almost square bore single cylinder engine, so this flat acceleration poses no issue whatsoever.